It's been too long, Your Highness. But try to temper your joy, will you? This is a war after all.
To say such a thing at a time like this. You have not changed one bit.
Don't let looks deceive you. I've had a rough go of it ever since I crossed blades with those traitors in Ferdiad. When I heard you'd been executed, I rushed there as fast as I could, blind with fury. When I got there, I was fed some garbage about not being able to see your body. The next thing I knew, I was gripping my blade and... Gilbert, you have done well to locate His Highness. I am truly grateful. And you, I have you to thank as well.
只是顺其自然啊，我并没有刻意去找他，我只不过偶然之间啊，回到大修道院就看到他了。
Well, we are in your debt. I will repay you for this someday, I swear it. And you, Felix, you have also done well to bring His Highness here.
Tell us all you know, Rodrigue.
I'm afraid there's not much to tell. You are aware that the western region of the kingdom was taken by the Empire, correct?
Yes, so I have heard. They are now calling it the Fargus Dukedom, or some nonsense.
If you know that much, then the rest won't take long. Enemy or not, it's undeniable that Cornelia's plan was nothing short of genius. After seizing power, she invited the Imperial army to Ferdiad. There she reorganized her troops, and then sent soldiers to hunt me down. Because of that, we were forced to act defensively, and now we're being forced into a difficult battle. She's been controlling the situation all along.
So that's been the witch's plan from the start. I should have killed her ages ago.
Your Highness, Ferdiad is in a terrible state right now. The tyranny is unbearable, and so the rebellions are endless. Refugees starve to death in the streets. If I may speak freely, Your Highness, we should change course for Ferdiad, and take down those traitors before we embark to Enbar.
There's no time for that. We must annihilate Enbar before all else.
Think this through. I understand wanting to destroy the Empire and the Emperor. I want that so much it hurts. But which is more important, the dead or the living?
Silence!
No, Dmitri. You will hear me out.
Are you asking me? Asking the dead to forgive that woman?
No, I would not ask that of you. What I am asking is that you allow us to prioritize the kingdom capital over the imperial capital for now. As Lambert's close and trusted friend, I am confident that he would have advised the same.
Do not dare to put words in the mouths of the dead. They are your words alone, even if you borrow their lips. Until I offer up that woman's head, Father will remain a slave to his lingering regret and hatred. Even now, he suffers. It is ceaseless. As we waste time with idle chatter, his suffering continues!
You are my king. Our king. Wherever you lead, we will follow. But Your Highness, there are those who take up their sword in the name of revenge, and yet along the way, lose the strength and composure to follow through. You would do well to bear that in mind. Ah, I nearly forgot. Take this, Your Highness. The time has come for it to be wielded by its true master.
Eretvar. The hero's relic once wielded by my father.
The very same. I managed to steal it back from one of Cornelia's underlings in Ferdiad.
Understated as ever, Father. It must have been a true struggle to get it back.
I am grateful, my friend.
Gilbert, Professor, may I request something of you? I wish to fight at your side.
Senile already, old man? Who will protect our territory?
I expected it would come to this, so I left those matters to my younger brother. He has my complete faith. I must keep my promise to our fallen king, to my dear friend. A very old one. I swore it nearly 10 years ago. Now then, Your Highness, let's destroy the Empire together. My men and I will spare no effort. I pray that you are right, and that this will save the kingdom.
小王子获得了阿莱德巴尔啊，这个是他的专属的英雄的遗产。
Our orders are to capture Enbar by striking the enemy's stronghold directly. How familiar are you with the geography of Fodlan?
很了解。
Then you must be aware that the kingdom and the empire are separated by the impassable Ogma Mountains, right?
这怎么像中国跟
Legend
印
has it
度啊
that？ Saint Seros once crossed over those mountains to fight against the Fell King Nemesis. But don't fool yourself. Leading a large army over such steep mountains would be near impossible.
In order to infiltrate the Empire, we have no choice but to go around the mountains, either to the east or to the west.
应该绕东边前进吧。西边的话，不是已经被帝国给占领了吗？
Yes, I agree. The Alliance is currently split in two. Those who stand with the Empire and those who are against it. Leading the Imperial faction is House Gloucester, while House Regan leads those who oppose. We should take advantage of their internal conflict and proceed east along the mountains until we reach the Great Bridge of Myrden in Alliance territory.
The Aramid River divides Alliance and Empire territory. There are many large bridges that cross it. However, the Great Bridge of Myrden is by far the largest, and it is also closest to the monastery. I believe you crossed that bridge 5 years ago on your journey to the Battle of the Eagle and Lion.
真是胡来的作战计划，不会被帝国和同盟夹击吗？
I'm afraid it's a possibility, but it's still more practical than passing through the west.
Perhaps our next move should be to contact House Regan and request their cooperation.
要与李刚加联手。
Claude of House Regan is the leader of the Alliance and is firmly against the Empire. They are the enemy of our enemy. In other words, hopefully, a friend.
Are you suggesting that we ask House Regan to engage the Gloucester soldiers?
I am. If we take the bridge, then House Gloucester will no longer be able to receive support from the Empire. There's no way a man as wise as Claude would refuse our request.
And once we manage to capture the Great Bridge and gain a foothold into the Empire,
Then we cross Gronder Field and head south toward Enbar.
But if we get attacked from both sides, we'll have to fight people from the Alliance, won't we?
Speaking of House Gloucester, I wonder how Lawrence is holding up. If we meet him again, it will probably be as enemies. To be honest, I'd rather avoid seeing him altogether.
If you do not wish to kill familiar faces, do not tarry over the corpses of the dead.
Good advice.
Prepare yourselves. It is time to steel your souls for the task at hand.
Part 2. Azure Moon. Lone Moon. The Rose-Colored River. The Kingdom Army meets with Rodrigue in Aelel, the Valley of Torment. With the strength of House Fraldarius on their side, the time to invade the Empire is finally at hand.
even though it's in ruins, in some strange way, this monastery never truly changes, does it? I studied at the Officers' Academy when I was young. Those memories come rushing back whenever I return. What are you doing here at this hour anyway?
睡不着。
It's the same for me. Perhaps you'll allow me to join you. Much appreciated. I keep recalling my eldest son. He was quite gifted. In fact, he was appointed a knight at the age of 15. I still vividly remember the day he was granted a sword from His Majesty.
古莲死了。
Dead. He was killed 9 years ago in Dusker. All that returned of him that day were his sword and his armor. After it happened, I said something horrible to Felix. He's hated me ever since. And I don't blame him. No matter how much you grieve, the dead will never return. No magic in the world can bring them back. That's why their memory clings to the living like a curse. The more they were loved, the tighter their hold, and the more suffering they cause. I fear I am not a strong enough man to scold His Highness for his foolishness.
我理解你的心情。
Since this war began, we've seen countless generals, soldiers, and citizens die. It never gets easier. Professor, I entrust the young prince and the future of Fargus to you.
就交给我吧。
You are a brave one, aren't you? One worthy of leading the Church of Seros, I dare say. You should know that I have no intention of insisting that you take back Ferdiat. All I ask is that you continue to rein in Dimitri's manic desire for revenge. Now then, we have received House Regan's consent. All that's left is for us to depart. If we make it through Gloucester territory and across the Great Bridge of Myrddin, we'll be in Empire territory. You are not afraid, are you?
开始紧张起来了，紧张个屁啊！没有真实感。
Yes, such is war. I'm glad you were the one to lead the Blue Lion House, Professor. I mean that.
今天是圣印迪哈日。
Singing is so much fun. Everyone should enjoy themselves while they're doing it.
May my song reach the goddess in the sky.
西提斯和雅尼特他们是没有支援剧情的。西提斯的话，他就只跟因古利特有，好像是。从罗德利古手中收下了狮子王的战衣 ，Dimitri 获得了转职成为领主统帅的资格。
This will do.
别呀，你还是做一个骑士好了，你的腿实在是太短了，知道吗？支援信息，他们之间的支援度都提升了。那行吧，我们本期就先结束在这里，下一期再来看一下他们的支援信息。好的，我们下期再见。